Hey everybody, welcome to We Run on Reruns. I'm Amanda, and this is my brother, Eric.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you had a good week this week.
And so, last week we left Friends with Rachel giving Ross the cold shoulder after the pros and cons list incident.
Man. That's tough.
Right?
Tough spot for tough spot for Ross.
Yeah, really tough spot for Ross. You know, it seemed like he was right there and not so much. Very, very quickly.
Made sense in his head, but then it all fell apart real quick.
Yeah. So we're talking about episodes 9 through 12 of season 2.
Yes.
And that's what we're covering today. To mix things up a little bit, we have decided to talk about Stranger Things for our midweek episode.
All right. We are branching out. We're branching out.
We're branching out. Yeah.
So we'll still do Friends every Sunday, but then our midweek episode on Wednesday will now be about Stranger Things. And I'm excited. It's a great show. I love that show. So it's going to be fun to go back through.
And while it is definitely still a rerun for us, I know I've seen it twice through, although my last viewing of the first couple seasons was several years ago now. So it's feeling like it's and it has that whole nostalgic vibe to it. So it's still very much reruns for us, but while it's still releasing new content, which is pretty cool. So
it is. So for me, this will be my first rewatch of Stranger Things. I've seen it once through. It's been a favorite of mine. But it will definitely feel different because I know Friends inside and out. And Stranger Things, I know a lot of. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But it will be a different feel to that because I will be going through it again as a kind of a true first rewatch.
Yeah. And with Halloween coming up, well, kind of, in the next several weeks, it'll be here before you know it.
Believe me, there are people celebrating fall. I've seen the stores out there. They've all got their Halloween stuff out.
Yeah. Even though it's like 90 degrees here still today.
Absolutely.
You know what? Let's make it happen. Yeah. So that's really exciting, and we look forward to having that episode come out later on this week. But yeah, as far as Friends go, overall, I have to say, in these coming episodes, Joey turning the radiator off from underneath so casually during the one with Phoebe's dad kind of made him my hero. I'm just going to start there. I love that sequence, and it's like, wow, Joey, way to step up. Because, Ross just broke the thing and pretty much walked away, and I love you, Ross, but what the heck? I mean, really.
Well, let's jump into this episode. Here's the synopsis of this first episode, which is season 2, episode 9, the one with Phoebe's dad. And in this episode, Phoebe discovers that the frame guy is not actually her real dad, but she gets enough information from her grandma to go visit him for the first time. Joey and Chandler go for support, but are also going to get their Christmas presents for the rest of the gang. Monica and Rachel have tipped people with cookies, and they were not a big fan, except for Mr. Trieger. And Ross is trying to win Rachel back, and she doesn't mind making him jump through some hoops along the way. So that's kind of where we're at, and it does end with that great moment of Joey just fixing the radiator. As they said before, they do have some experience in the heating and cooling milieu.
Yes, Chandler. I love that this is a Christmastime theme episode, and it's all... Oh.
It's actually their first one. It's their first Christmas episode. Because they didn't do a Christmas episode in season 1. They went from Thanksgiving to New Year's to Valentine's Day. So this is actually the first Christmas episode, but they skipped the Thanksgiving episode, which is not typical of Friends. They get into like a groove where they just hit Thanksgiving every year. But this is their first real like Christmas episode, and they're saying Merry Christmas and giving gifts and doing the whole thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize they didn't actually have, good point. They skipped right over that in season 1.
They did.
So the first thing I gotta say is I'm like, hey, this is a very sweet gesture and all, but tipping the super, I'm like, that is not something that I don't know if I'm just a jerk and I missed that that event, but I did not gift or tip the guy. And no, listen, this all has I've rented many a time in many different places, and it was typically more of like a landlord, like someone who owned the house. I did live in a building at one point, but yeah, did not provide cookies or monetary presents to my super.
So I rented an apartment for a couple of years and don't recall tipping the super. Never really needed the super, to be fair.
Well, right.
So
there's
didn't do that. But I will leave that squarely in your court, as I've now been a homeowner for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's not a thing. I will say, now granted, this episode is 1994, right? I will say that in 2025, there's a tip line on literally everything that you could ever purchase.
Right?
It's getting a little wild.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that. You all can make your own judgments for how you feel about tipping people for different things.
Yeah. I get the sense. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I get the sense that even for I know that this one Starbucks that I'll go to on a rare occasion, they'll like hand me the little, the device where the card paying, I don't know. Now I'm like stumbling over my thought here, but you go to pay in the, Eric, help me out. What's the...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You put your card in the... Oh my goodness. No, I'm going to have to delete this.
No. When I messed up in the first episode, you kept it in. So you're keeping this in.
The card
you're talking
reader,
about, like,
I don't know.
The device that you put
your credit card in the thing.
I don't know what that's called. It's a thing. You paying it. Like,
either way,
we don't know what we're talking about.
I've had multiple people, they'll say like, don't worry about it. Or like, hey, like, it's just part of like the ask where it asks you if you want a tip. Like, I'll just pass right over this for you. And they'll like kind of bypass it because it's clearly just part of the program and programming now. And I think they even feel quite awkward about it. But, we'll kind of, as you said, we'll leave that there. And I'm sure that there are plenty of circumstances, though, where it's like, oh, yeah, this is a good opportunity to throw in some extra bucks. And whereas maybe you wouldn't have normally. But
I would say this. Shouldn't have to ask for tips.
Yeah.
People will tip you if you are worthy of being tipped.
Right, yeah.
And if not, then it is what it is. And I don't work in an industry in which I get a lot of tips, obviously, but that's just kind of common sense how it goes. I think you can't, if people are being asked to tip all the time, it starts becoming something that the customers get frustrated over, and therefore they're less likely to do it. Because now you're being pressured into tipping.
I agree, but I think you have a missed opportunity there. I think you need to start putting out a tip jar for your students.
In my
leave
classroom?
it on just leave it right there on your desk. Just say,
I'm gonna have to read the fine print in the contract. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I can't do that. So we're not doing.
I think we have an opportunity there.
No, we're not. We don't have an opportunity there. Not in a public school. So yeah. That's just, but that's just kind of my thing. I mean, I've been asked for tips for all sorts of things, but going back to
all this to be said, yes, they need
Monica's tipping with cookies.
Well, and all this to be also like, listen, clearly by the end of this episode, it is clear, or maybe even just right away, they use this superintendent. Like they need his skills in order to like just make it through the day, it seems. So they have him like on speed dial. They have a relationship with this person. Like they know who he is, how to reach him immediately. And so I guess maybe that does
and like Russ,
a tip.
Ross does not live in the building.
Right, and he
knows his name.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's clearly been around. At least that's the implication.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I understand it, but I understand the idea of tipping with cookies, and it's a little bit more personal gift. But I feel like that is a more personal gift that you give to someone that you know a little bit more personally than the super of a building.
Well,
but maybe you do.
You find out, though, he liked those cookies. So
he did.
I think that is
1 out of about 12.
That is a perfectly acceptable gift. I'm all for it, especially holiday season. Got to have those holiday cookies. So, but
no doubt.
But yeah, I gotta say, during this episode where Phoebe's grandmother, first of all, we get to meet Phoebe's grandmother, which is a great section, and then just learning that she has been lying to her, and her dad has been just the frame guy is great. She's been upholding this lie that actually her mother really had started. And the grandmother felt like she couldn't break it to her, or she just figured, maybe it's not gonna come up again. Like, I don't know what the the line of thinking there was, but it's pretty awful. It's pretty bad.
Mom might have come up with the idea originally, right?
Yeah.
That's the story
She's
that
been gone a
Grandma
while.
is going with.
That's true.
Okay, that's what Grandma says. But Grandma also says Albert Einstein is her grandfather.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And Grandma also said, I don't know where he is. And then magically comes up with the actual address. She's straight up lying throughout this whole episode.
Yeah.
So maybe Mom came up with that idea, but how can I trust Grandma? She's literally lied about every single thing. And even when Phoebe thinks she's got all of it planned out, she's still lying to her.
And Phoebe's innocence of it all, where she says, Grandma, I know you've never lied to me. It's like, oh goodness, but she lies to her constantly. Phoebe. I love that line from the grandmother. I wasn't completely honest with you when I told you I don't know where he lives. His address is 74 Laurel Drive in Middletown. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, here it is. I didn't have the truth then. It's exactly this point. I knew exactly where he was the whole time. Yeah. No.
Okay, so
that's not it.
He's not a famous tree surgeon?
No, he's not.
No, I'm not sure what that...
I will say that when Phoebe first comes in to meet Grandma, we get a little bit of a scene with Grandma going through the phone book. And she says, what are you doing? She's like, just updating the phone book. That makes me laugh every time.
With the obituary.
I like that one. It's a quick little line, but it's funny.
She has the obituary up and she's just crossing people out. Yep. Yep.
Something that doesn't happen today, people updating a phone book.
No, not at all.
Because I don't think kids know what a phone book is today.
Yeah, there's really no need for that. That is, I think the closest thing is probably Yellow Pages website. But they probably don't even really know what that is.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Okay.
And another line that I loved in this, going back to the apartment, is when you realize a couple of I think it was Chandler and Joey don't have gifts yet. And Monica, who is always like right on top of everything, super planned out, says, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. What are you going to do? And Chandler goes, don't you have to be claymation to say things like that? Yeah.
Perfect Monica line and perfect Chandler response to the line. Like it did. It sounds like it's right out of an old-timey Christmas movie. But it was exactly right. Mm-hmm. And I side with Monica. Listen, it's Christmas Eve at night and you don't have any gifts yet. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
You are in trouble. But I will say it delivers the best scene of this entire show while the credits are rolling and Joey and Chandler are giving the gifts to the rest of the gang. That is the funniest part of this whole episode.
Yeah, that is a great episode.
Get the wiper blades, the toilet seat covers for Phoebe, a cola, and a lemon lime.
Oh no, I'll get you another
And
sweater.
we get the condoms for Monica.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And they just trade behind the
Yeah. Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. But this is also where Ross wants Rachel to make a list about the things that she doesn't like, and Rachel doesn't really want to make a list, but then she goes ahead and does it.
Yeah, she even said in the previous episode, she's like, I would never do that about you. But he's badgering her enough that she's like, fine, here's a whole bunch of stuff. And just starts rattling it off.
Whiny, obsessive, put way too much gel in your hair. And then he starts obsessing about how much gel he puts in his hair. So it's
It's say to put it the size of a pea. Yeah. Although I have to say this about Ross. Okay. Monica and Rachel live in an apartment, right? One level. Correct? That's what I noticed. At the beginning of this episode, Ross is trying to get Rachel back. And so he goes to her and gives her a gift. And that gift is a slinky. What in the world are you going to do with a slinky in a one-level apartment? And like, if you, the boyfriend, are trying to get the girlfriend back, I don't know, man, you would have to tell me if somebody approached you and said, I'm so sorry, here's a slinky. How is that working out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess she could have used it during, down the staircase that goes to the main floor in the public area, right?
Sure could. Because, that's what you want to be, 26 in a public area playing with a slinky down a public staircase.
And Rachel also is the one that we find out, like, returns every single gift, no matter really what you get her. Well, so maybe the slinky is fine, because she's going to, it'll be more sentimental. But...
Okay.
But yeah, sentimental for what? I don't really know where the slinky came into play, why that was ever a good idea. She's not an 8-year-old child. It is so random
thing.
Yeah.
And like, as the gift to try and make up this huge fight, you're like gone to the dollar store and found a slinky.
And Gunther didn't even want it. He tried giving it to Gunther. But I think he said, I don't have stairs.
He doesn't. And you know what? Neither does Rachel.
No, neither does Rachel. That is a valid point, and I never thought of that. Mr. Trieger is not wanting to fix their radiator because it is hot as hell in their apartment after Ross breaks off the knob. The heat is cranking, and they're about to have a party, and so they just make it tropical theme, and it is, they just roll with it. But Mr. Trieger shows up again, tries to kind of hit on Rachel under mistletoe, and he's like, is this mistletoe? No, it's basil.
Oh, because if it was mistletoe, I was going to kiss you.
No.
Oh, no,
it's still basil. Yeah. Love that. But as I said earlier, my favorite part of that whole, although I will say another favorite sequence is when they're in the car. So Chandler and Joey are in the car with Phoebe in her grandmother's cab that she's borrowed so that she can meet her father after she learns about his address. She's going to just surprise him, but then really decides against it. She's like, you know what? I'm really not ready for this step yet. And the guys are just so sweet and, comforting to Phoebe, and they just really show up for her. And I love that scene. They're just really supportive. So, that's a great moment just between Phoebe and, Chandler and Joey. And then they don't show it at the gas station, but then after that is when they pick out these amazing gifts that Eric mentioned earlier.
Pick out all the great gifts. They do a very good job in this show of showing those moments of all 6 of them supporting each other, as opposed to in some episodes where literally all 6 of them are throwing each other under the bus, which is great because you get the idea that these 6 are truly friends, no matter how it works out, like what's happening. They're there for each other. They're also there to pick on each other, and it kind of just all works out well together.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on this episode?
No, other than Phoebe just saying, "Toilet seat covers, you guys." Were you picking these out while I was in the bathroom?
Yeah. Between that and Chandler saying, "A lemon lime," like those are the best lines in the whole thing right here at the end. It's great. But then we go to season 2, episode 10, and this is the one with Russ. And I don't have a very long synopsis for this one. I just add that Monica is dating Fun Bobby and is approaching him about the amount that he drinks, and Rachel starts dating Russ. And those two things, everything kind of dances around. So all the other characters are just kind of involved in those two storylines. Let's start with Fun Bobby. Thoughts?
Yeah, it was definitely more. I feel like they tried to incorporate just another relationship issue that can come up, whereas they're realizing, hey, there's a reason why he's Fun Bobby. He's drunk all the time, and it's
Right.
kind of hitting that after school special vibe a little bit in there. But and I feel like they do because he had been on the series earlier for just a moment, and then they don't really explain, I think, why they broke up. He just kind of
No, he was in the New Year's episode.
That's right.
But he came after someone had passed away, and he was not fun at all.
Yes.
He was just sad the whole time.
Yes. So they realized, after he had left, that, hey, we went through 2 bottles of wine amongst the rest of us, but total they had 5 bottles of wine that were gone. And then they all just look at the door because Bobby had left at that point, and it's like, oh, okay. And then they're kind of putting it 2 and 2 together where, oh yeah, like I guess he does tend to incorporate drinking with everything that they do. Hey, well, like who, you can't go to a wine tasting without drinking some wine. But then it's like, oh yeah, but I guess...
Or the zoo.
The zoo, exactly. Yeah, so... But this rolls in right after, at the beginning of this episode, just want to point out, this is when Joey got some really rough reviews. So they had all run out in the middle of the night. Yeah. They were all excited. They went out to see when the paper was first released, and they're reading the reviews. Joseph Tribbiani was able to achieve brilliant new levels of, continue on page 53, sucking.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
Yeah, they're all at that tone. So it's pretty rough for Joey. He's pretty down in the dumps at that point and questioning.
And that's true. I guess I didn't include that in the synopsis.
Yeah.
There is like a little Joey storyline here with him and his agent. We have Estelle's debut here in this episode. But I guess before I get to that, let me go back to Fun Bobby for a second, and we'll stick with that thought process. I do think that this is very interesting. Like you said, it's kind of that after-school special, but Friends definitely makes it light-hearted.
Yeah.
Right? It's not down your throat. Like if you watch Beverly Hills 90210, like I know you and I both did, if they were going to do a special like this, or even if you went back and watched like Saved by the Bell or some of those other shows, they are going to jam that down your throat that this is negative. Meanwhile, in this one, we have the decision that he's going to get sober. And so he says to Phoebe, I'm going to try and quit drinking. And she goes, oh, why?
Oh, no.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And so they make it a little bit softer and lighthearted. And, this is not a show pointed at children.
No.
So it's very different in that manner. So it's not like they take the drinking and turn it into a lesson.
No.
They are, making it a little bit more realistic.
Yeah. Although I have to say, then Monica's move, I'm like, oh man, for someone, if there's someone actually who has struggled with alcoholism watching this, it's like, oh boy, yeah, that's a little bit awkward. Monica doesn't want to
She's not helping.
she doesn't want to just break up with him. She kind of does what I would call is more of a classic guy move, where instead of just breaking up with him and being straight with she decides, because she's like, well, she feels guilty, she doesn't want to just like end it over this, because she now has been the one to point out his alcoholism, even though it sounds like other people have as well over the years. So instead, when they plan a trip together, she just packs this, like, what looks to be a freezer bag full of all these nips, which I think if you're not from the Northeast, you just call them, like, mini alcohol bottles. I don't know what, I think I did learn that that's, like, a New England thing, calling them nips.
I couldn't have told you.
Either way, these tiny bottles of alcohol, and she packs it full, and she tells the gang that they're for cuts and scrapes.
Of course.
And
a lot of cuts and scrapes going
on. And it goes outside as Bobby shows up to their apartment. She just carries it out there with her, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, you might have wanted to be a little bit more subtle about that. She's holding it in her hands as he's telling her, you're about to say something.
I found that interesting, that he wants to talk to her and she carries the bag outside.
What I'm saying is, to me, I feel like unconsciously she's trying to get him to just break up with her, which does then happen, although not even for that reason. I think she obviously had been drinking more in front of him, I think, as she had put it, just to make it through, because he was no longer exciting.
Right.
It's a little dark, and like, you don't want to really think about this storyline. I think overthink it too much because it's a little bit messed up. But either way, she's carrying this giant bag of alcohol out there, and he tells her he thinks that she has a drinking problem, and it's too soon for him in his sobriety to be part of a codependent relationship. And then he ends it with her, and that she probably he recommends that she seeks help at that point. Which Monica probably could use to seek some help, but maybe for another reason. I don't know.
Listen, I understand Monica's thought process when you hear the story. You want to hear something funny? There are no hardware stores open past midnight in the village.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Did you just hear the hardware story?
Like, you can understand where Monica's coming from, because Monica and Chandler and Phoebe are like on bated breath, like, can you do something? And the irony is, you see Fun Bobby being fun at the beginning of the episode. Yes. So the drop from where that guy is to where this guy is stark.
No doubt.
I'm not saying that Monica's doing the right thing. I'm just saying, you understand.
Just break up with the dude is all I'm saying.
Just break up with him.
Oh my God, yeah.
Just break up with him. Yeah.
But
yeah. I get it, but it's time. If it's not working out, it's not working out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's then pivot to Joey and Joey's opportunities, shall we say.
Yeah.
So he has an opportunity here to make an actual name for himself with this new agent. And so he has Estelle as his agent, who we get to see for the first time as Estelle. We did see her earlier as a nurse. I pointed this out. She was in that episode where Ben is born, in a couple
Not
scenes.
as Estelle, to be clear.
Not as Estelle.
We would not want that.
But I think they did a really nice job setting up Estelle as exactly who she is. She's only in the episode for, I don't know, a minute, but all the little things, from the little cigarette tree that she pulls out to the way she's talking to him and all the little motion. Oh, she does a fantastic job of just kind of, stealing the scene from Joey, really. because Joey's actually acting as, I mean, he's the straight person in that, trying to get Estelle to be normal, but she's not, because she's a little eccentric, to say the least.
Yes. Yeah, I love meeting Estelle and her, just listening to how she's talking to Joey. She's always very raspy and
Yeah, oh yeah.
And she calls up, so basically Joey has an opportunity to audition for Days of Our Lives. He goes in and auditions and then learns, to get the part, I was kind of under the impression that they wanted more than just my acting skills. And so Estelle reads the room on that, makes a phone call to the woman on the set, I guess, that Joey was auditioning with. And she looks at him and is just like, yeah, you're gonna have to sleep with her. and that was kind of the deal there. So Joey is then left with that decision. Well, it's like, well, then I'll never know if I'm just getting this role because of my skills or because of my skills.
And I think he goes into, set the record straight with the right, noble thought process of, we're not doing this. We are, we're going to find our break somewhere else. Which turns into a negotiation tactic to land a bigger part and get more lines and more episodes. And at that point, listen, it's still a joke.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that scene where he's like, "Yeah, so I didn't get that role, but I got the opportunity for a bigger role, and I got it. I'm gonna have to go shower now," and just runs into the other room. I'm like, "Oh, that is just." But here we are.
And for the most part, when he is Dr. Drake Ramoray on Days of Our Lives, the other people he's acting with are Days of Our Lives people.
Oh, seriously? I did not know that. That's pretty
I
cool.
believe that is the case most of the time. Maybe not in every single scene, because there will be a bunch of them going forward.
Yes.
But a lot of them, they are.
That's pretty cool.
I honestly would have to ask Tina. She's seen it enough times. She would be able to tell me better.
Fact check
but I do believe that is the case.
All right, cool. Yeah, so kind of also woven throughout this episode, as Eric mentioned earlier, is meeting Russ, who...
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Russ.
So they take David Schwimmer, who plays Ross, and they do a split screen or whatever effect that they have to do, because sometimes they end up being in the same room together at Central Park, but it is David Schwimmer playing his role as well, just as a much frumpier, much more almost like, I guess, fun Bobby without the booze. Ridiculously dull Bobby.
There's a handful of like little prosthetics. Like he's got a chin prosthetic on, he's got a nose. That make him look just enough different that you wouldn't say they're twins, but they are very close.
It's Ross tonight and then later that night, as Monica puts it. Yes,
absolutely.
They're as different as day and
as night.
No, yes,
later that night.
Yes, I'm messing up the line. There's different the difference between night and later that night. So good. So Rachel just does. So this is someone who is introduced as someone that Rachel is dating, though, which is the best part, is that he rolls in because Rachel is meeting up with him for a date, and they all have an opportunity to see him other than Ross. I think everyone else is there at that point other than Ross. And Phoebe is trying to be very direct with Rachel, like, "Hey, doesn't Russ remind you of someone?" And I love how Rachel says, "Bob Saget?"
It's not a bad call, Bob Saget.
Right?
That's not a bad call.
That's not a bad call.
Like when she says like, "Oh, Bob Saget," not bad. Like, I don't know. It's not great, but he's not that far off from that.
Mm-hmm. And I love Chandler's line in there, and that when he says, I'm kind of this is kind of good, so if we ever lose Ross, now we have a spare."
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. I do like when Ross is trying to be critical of Russ.
Yes.
And he says, and I'm going to butcher this whole thing, but he says, "I know it takes him like a week to get out a sentence.
Yes.
And Chandler's like, yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
Gesturing
It's
silently,
just long stretches of pause that are so annoying, and I can't do it justice.
I know.
But like, it's classic Ross, and it's awesome, and I love every piece of that line.
And
it's an extreme version. It's like anytime someone tries to do the Chandler impression, it's an extreme version, but it's still great.
Yeah, and after Ross meets Russ, he pulls Rachel aside and kind of is trying to talk to her about how, so we're seeing other people now. It's definitely awkward. It's like, oh goodness, yep, this is really happening. But she clearly, while Phoebe is trying to be direct, I think she's also trying to have Rachel like figure it out for herself, like see what's going on. So maybe direct isn't the best word, but she's trying to help her get there as a friend, and she's not getting there. Yeah.
It's like trying to lead Joey to the answer every now and then, and it takes Joey a really long time.
Yes.
It takes until Rachel walks up right between them and sees them both side by side that it's like, oh my God, in my best Janice impression. Like, just, this is the worst.
Russ, Steve, Sleeve.
Although, I will say this, my favorite thing about Russ is that they bring Julie back in at the end, and they connect Julie to Russ. And
same.
It's one of those things where you haven't seen Julie in a long time, and she comes in. I forget what she's trying to do. Give back something.
Return Ross's stuff. Yes.
Yeah. And so she's giving that back, and then eyes meet across Central Perk. And Julie and Russ, I can only imagine, live out their lives happily ever after.
Yeah, so there's some classic love song playing in the background as Julie connects eyes with Russ. And I love that so much because Julie was a really good person, and you kind of feel bad. The whole situation with
Julie did nothing wrong.
And so it felt so nice.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, Julie now has the other version of Ross, who
she gets later that night.
Later that night, yes, because not only do they look alike, but he's also a doctor of some kind, and it's just the parallels.
Yeah, he's the doctor of gums.
That's
a
right,
periodontist.
A periodontist. Yes, yeah, and I love how Ross tries to like dig at him over that, and no pun intended there, but that was pretty good.
Oh,
unintentional.
Nice. But that's the smallest body part you can major in. Like day 1, floss. Day 2, here's your degree or diploma, whatever it was. Yeah. It is what it is. Okay, so next we have season 2, episode 11, the one with the lesbian wedding. And this is basically Carol and Susan are getting married, and they have invited Ross to the wedding. Monica then gets her first catering job, which is also for the same wedding. And Phoebe has a massage client who has died on the table, and then her spirit has entered into Phoebe, as can only possibly happen to Phoebe. Right. We also get Rachel's mom coming into the picture and dropping a bomb of potential divorce on her all at the same time. What do you want to start with?
Yeah. Just kind of starting from the top there. I love Chandler's line from the beginning. I was thinking about us and how these are the days of our lives, because he's referencing back to Joey's new new Dr. Drake Ramoray role. And Monica is very...
Was that Chandler that says that? I feel like that was Joey that said that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yep. Fact check me. I think that is Joey. It just sounds like something that Chandler would say. I wrote it down and did not quote.
Because Chandler, I think, is like, yeah, like These are the days
You're
of
right.
our lives.
You're so right there.
Um, but it's it's funny. I saw something. So it was an Instagram reel or something where it was one of these things where they go, you know, I wish there was something that told you it was the good old days while you were in the good old days,
Mhm.
you know, and you don't know that you're out of the good old
Mhm.
days until it's long over.
Mhm.
And it's a similar message to what he's trying to say. Like, these are the days of our life. These are the days. It's like, yeah, these are the days. And sometimes you don't know it and you don't understand it until it's over. And then once it's over, you wish you
Well,
could go back and
it,
do them
it is
again.
it is
But
very true. Yeah, no kidding.
it is what it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, and that's why this show is all about nostalgia. Because
That's it.
yeah, that's where it's at. I know, looking back.
Everybody's looking
Yeah,
back.
that's right. But then we have Monica, who is excited to get a catering job for Carol and Susan's wedding. And all of this happens really fast because Monica's excited that, she hasn't been working ever since the steak incident.
Yeah, very quietly that Monica hasn't had a job. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
she's just kind of floating in the
Yeah.
background in a lot of these
Right.
episodes.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, hopefully this like huge apartment in Manhattan is just, I guess, bought and paid for. Like, I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. I know that it's her
It's fine.
grandmother's apartment, but I know that and it's rent
Listen,
controlled, but they still have rent. I mean,
between
what is
Monica
going
not
on?
having a job and Rachel working at the coffee shop, they're fine.
I guess in the 90s.
Let's not worry about it.
Their rent is what? Yeah, $50 a
What,
month.
$4
Right,
a day?
yeah.
I mean,
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's fine.
So she's excited to get this catering job, but yeah, all of this with the wedding happens super fast. Ross finds out at the beginning of the episode that Carol and Susan are getting married. I don't know if they just didn't tell him until it was just upon them. But then by the end of this episode, they're getting married. So I'm like, that was the fastest wedding to come together ever. And what are your thoughts on that?
No, it was quick.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's also possible that they knew they were getting married, but they didn't invite Ross because they weren't sure whether they should invite Ross.
Right.
And Monica being asked to be the caterer is only because somebody else has an accident and therefore they don't have a caterer anymore. So they need to go find someone to be a caterer. So they ask Monica at the last minute. So I think it's more plausible than, say, when Janice shows up in the coffee shop super pregnant after having gone on a date with Chandler, like literally right before that pregnancy would have started.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
understand the math. It's plausible that that could have happened, but theoretically, it's a little bit more reasonable. Oh, there's a little bit more gray area there
Mm-hmm.
that opens the door for
Yeah.
that being a thing.
Although, and then it's like, wow, so for people that were never invited or involved, they're sure like just stepping right up to the plate. Ross ends up walking Carol down the aisle, and because they've always remained like really great friends, even outside of, needing to stay connected because of Ben. Ross has always been there for Carol. So I think it all does work out. But yeah, Monica getting the job as the caterer after she is excited to learn that the original caterer is in a full body cast always cracks me up. And then we have, while this is going on, we have Joey excited that his show is about to, the first episode of Days of Our Lives with him featured is about to come on the TV. So they're all like, around the television, and Joey explains to them that he is now using a method called smell the fart acting.
Yes.
It's when you got so many lines, so while you're thinking of them, you take this big pause and you look real intense. and he calls it smell the fart acting because he's kind of
Yeah.
makes this face like he's like sniffing the air.
Yeah. Listen, the only thing he's got to work on is his timing, because during the scene, he like in the middle of a sentence just decides this is the time that I will unveil the smell the fart acting technique.
Well,
and they kept it in there, so it was good enough.
but that's because that is
Soap
the
operas
moment.
are soap operas.
Yeah, that is the moment he forgot his line. So he's just throwing that in whenever he needs it, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, as far as Joey's doing Joey things. I do want to touch back on the wedding portion here and just say there were a couple moments that I really liked, which was while Monica's dealing with all this catering, Ross is struggling to be even involved in this at all, right? Like he has that moment early when they ask him, and he says something to the effect of, what would it say about me if I couldn't revel in your joy? And I'm reveling, baby, believe me, as he like slams his hand into a stroller, I believe.
Yes. Oh.
And then while they're all trying to work, Chandler starts walking around going, who's the bitterest man in the living room? The bitterest man in the living room. Hi, neighbor.
Yes.
Like, and he's just really struggling with it. And I understand that. That is not an easy, like, it's not easy to ask an ex to come to your wedding.
No.
I can only imagine. And in this case, you would probably avoid it at all costs, except you have a child with this person.
Yeah.
And therefore it opens the door a little bit more for that sort of thing to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Ross ends up being the hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the hero here because we get this moment where Monica is doing all of the catering stuff, trying to get everybody on board. Like you said, everybody kind of like jumps into action, even though none of them were invited to this thing not that long ago. And Carol comes in with the idea of, it's time, like, we're going to call this thing off because my parents don't want to be there. And Ross is the one who stands up for Susan and says, listen, if your parents don't want to come, who cares? It's not about them. And that is a difficult thing to say. It is true, but it is difficult to do that. And so Ross ends up being the one that walks her down the aisle, which is very fitting. And also shows how much he is willing to like grow in this whole thing as well.
Yeah, I feel like that was very symbolic. Like he was the one giving her away. And that was him really letting go, because it was clear not even that in that many episodes ago, when they were at the during when he was on the date, it was Valentine's Day, when they were on the Valentine's date, and he and his date ran into Carol and Susan there, that he still was asking her like, hey, let's give this another shot, which always breaks my heart. It's like he was still hoping that she would come back to him, I think. And especially since they have been together, and, as much as he, has loved Rachel too over all these years, he was married to Susan, to Carol, I'm sorry. And he, he'd really only been with her. So she was really his first love. And him giving her away, I think just was symbolic and really sweet. I mean, most people would not do that. I mean, this is a very television moment too. How often is this gonna really play out this way in real life?
I can't imagine it plays out this way very often. That being said, I could understand if it did. And that is very, very admirable of Ross throughout this whole thing. And then I also think it is admirable of Susan to ask him to dance at the wedding.
Yes.
Not Carol,
Yes.
Susan.
Yes.
When Ross is clearly still, even after all of this, sitting there at the wedding, not exactly having the best time, because why you can understand that he wouldn't.
Right.
But then she comes up and asks him to dance, and gets him to do it by saying, "Hey, I'll even let you lead."
Yeah.
And so I thought that was very big of her as well.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I do think, I understand that early on there are some issues where they kind of like are pitted against each other, but I think they do a decent enough job moving forward, showing that they're all on the same page, and this can be a reasonable co-parenting situation.
For sure. I feel like they had to show some level of tension, because otherwise it just wouldn't have felt natural at all. Right?
Absolutely.
It's like
Absolutely.
there's got to be some awkwardness, level of tension, and just to bring that make it seem more real. But to kind of go back to a little bit earlier in the episode, you got to say because we also have the theme of Phoebe having a client of hers die.
Wait, hold on. I have to say, on this whole thing, I forget where it happens in the episode, but Joey says, "Hey, if she were marrying a guy, she'd be like the worst lesbian ever."
Oh my God.
And that line makes me laugh every single time.
Oh,
I love it. It's so funny. It's like they're in the coffee shop, and I can't remember exactly what's going on, but it's definitely something.
A moment where they all look at Joey like,
like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
But anyway, now that was my last note on that. I had to get that in because I love that line so much.
Oh,
but Mrs. Edelman.
Oh my goodness.
And Phoebes.
Go ahead. My favorite line of this part, though, is when Phoebe comes in. She's all distraught. She just shows up at Rachel and Monica's apartment. They're all there, and she explains that one of her clients died in the massage table. And Chandler just looks at her and goes, "Well, that's a little bit more relaxed than you'd want them to get."
It is.
So I love that, and her name was Mrs. Edelman. And her spirit is now within Phoebe, which, as Eric said earlier, this is only a storyline that could happen to Phoebe. I mean, the rest of this it's all a little bit crazy, clearly. I mean, she's...
No. The best is when her husband comes in, Mrs. Edelman's husband comes into the coffee shop.
Oh, no.
And Phoebe's asking him, "Can you think of anything that she'd want to do?" And he goes, "Oh, and I remember. She said she wanted to sleep with me one last time." Phoebe says, "I'm sorry, there's laughing in my head." And he looks to the guys, he's like, "Worth a shot, right?" And Joey's like, "Yes, it is worth a shot."
Oh my God. Yes.
That's a good moment. That is, again, with all the seriousness going on with the wedding, having this little moment at the coffee shop with Phoebe and Mrs. Edelman, having the moment at the apartment, having Joey being on TV and stuff. These are little things that kind of break it up a little bit.
That's true. Because you also not only have the seriousness of the wedding, but you also then have Rachel's mom coming over, which definitely has funny parts. So her mom is played by Marlo Thomas, who she was on this show called That Girl from the 60s, but I actually recognized her from her recurring role as Judge Mary Clark on SVU. So any SVU fans out there, she did play a judge there as well.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but that is, I haven't watched Law and Order SVU in a very long time, but she was on.
Yeah, she was a judge, and I think it was just on one of the seasons, so it wasn't terribly She wasn't on for a super long time, but yeah. So I love just so much though how Rachel's mom is so excited for her, so happy and proud of her. Like she is just over the moon that she has made her own path and that she's forged this independent life for herself and that she's just doing it on her own. And I love that so much. But then you quickly learn that her mom also loves it because I think she's envious of it. Like she wishes that she had really done that more for herself. And she has a line in there where she says, you know, you didn't marry your Barry, but I married mine. And for her to lay that on her,
that is
rough.
That is the home run knockout punch of the episode. And when she says that, you can like almost see the shockwaves roll through Rachel as she's like, oh, because she's like, why? Why would you think I would understand this? In what world should I understand what you're telling me right now? And she's like, well, you didn't marry your Barry, but I married mine.
Right.
And that just, oh.
Yes, because right before that is when she just lays on her that she's thinking about leaving her father, which this whole thing, I'm like, oh my goodness, like she hasn't even told Rachel's dad that she's thinking of leaving him. She's laying this on her daughter. It's just brutal. It's like, man, I like to not even have that conversation with your spouse and then you're just kind of laying it on your daughter, like, and she's just considering it. It's not even a thing.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Okay. But it's not right after that she does this like Barry line.
Yeah.
It is they then go and they're in the kitchen and she's asking them about marijuana and she's asking them if there's anything new in sex. Like, what?
Yes.
And Rachel is losing it.
Yes.
She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How could you possibly and that's when she drops this bomb and Rachel, it like flicks with Rachel all of a sudden that, oh, she is what I could have been. Like I could have been this.
Yes.
And now I've done this instead. And she thinks that I actually have made the right choice and I'm doing the right things. And she's seeing that it's possible.
Yeah.
Now, also, I have to imagine, now I don't know, but probably at Rachel's mom's age, if you go back in time, it was a little bit more common that those things happened.
Yeah. Yes.
And the idea of walking out at the buzzer and like going on and forging your own life was just not an option. Those are not things that you do. And as we have moved through time and things have progressed and, you know, people have a little bit more optionality, I guess, out there in the world, this is available. And so Rachel's mom is now seeing this and saying, I can still do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it just kills me every time I watch that scene where she's like laying all this on her daughter instead of like as just like, oh, I'm thinking about leaving your dad. It's like, oh, good Lord. Yeah, that's a lot. But my final thought about that episode was loving when Monica learns that. So after, as Eric was talking about, Ross is consoling Carol, you know, they're you know, about the wedding and that this is the right choice even if her parents can't be there. Monica's kind of in this holding pattern for like, I've been prepping all this food. Should I continue? Should I not continue? And Monica just looks at Phoebe because they're working on all this food and she's like, do you want me to cry? Is that what you want? Do you want to see me cry? Sir, no, sir, is what Phoebe comes back with. And they're then just like, chop, peel, devil. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great sequence there. So
that is good. And I have that written down as something to mention as well. Yeah, you really get a look at Monica as the drill sergeant leader type in that episode. And you get vibes of it throughout, but you don't really see her being like that that harsh with it, I guess, until now. Like, this is kind of one of the first times we've seen her be that forward with it. Unless I'm missing something.
The one where she's training Chandler when he's trying to lose weight.
Oh, good point.
Right? And she's like, has him working
You get a little
out.
bit of it there too.
Oh my goodness, she's like, yeah, really, really intense. So that's a good one.
I will say, before we move on to the final episode here, I do love Chandler at the wedding when he and Joey are talking about how there's nobody here that we can even ask to date, that Joey is kind of going through this whole thing about how it's impossible to ask any of these girls out, and Chandler's line back is, the whole world is my lesbian wedding, because he clearly just has the cape but cannot fly, and there's nothing you can do here.
Aww.
And Joey's just flustered by it, and Chandler's like, this is my everyday life, this is no different, none of these girls will date me no matter what I do, and it just is what it is. But I love that
just
line.
reminded me of one woman that came up and was hitting on Phoebe. Was actually, I don't know her name, but she was on Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
Right? Did you notice?
I don't know that she had a character name in this episode. Maybe she did.
I don't think so.
But I forget her name on Orange is the New Black, but she's a key character. Yes. I will look her actor name up real quick. Her actual human name.
Yeah, oh my goodness. But either way, yeah, she definitely, because I'd really never seen her on anything else, so that just stood out to me.
The actor's name is Leah Delaria.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't have told you what her actual name was, but she is definitely in Orange is the New Black. She plays Big Boo.
Big Boo. Okay. It's been a while since I've seen that show.
I saw that. I don't know how many seasons that show went. I watched it while it was like hot.
Yeah.
While it was like the Netflix show to watch.
Yeah.
It's been, and I haven't seen it since then. I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah, I did finish it, but it started to get a little... I wasn't as big of a fan by the end. The first, 3 seasons were great. And then 5 seasons, if I had to guess, but that is a total shot in the dark. But, yeah, that just stood out to me because I had never seen her in anything else, and I thought that was really a cool, just random... I guess you couldn't really call it a cameo because she hadn't been in... Orange is the New Black yet. It's a retroactive cameo?
You wouldn't retroactive cameo. Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
That being said, we have many cameos in this next episode.
It goes crazy. Yes.
So this is season 2, episode 12, the one after the Super Bowl part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Joey gets a stalker with his new Days of Our Lives gig, while Ross is trying to track down Marcel after seeing the Monkey Shine beer commercial. Eventually finding out that he is filming Outbreak 2 in New York. Phoebe gets a gig playing for kids, but ends up being fired because she is playing too inappropriate lyrics, according to the parents.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, my first note was, Marcel.
He's back.
I just don't care about Marcel at all.
Oh my god.
It's going to be, we should have titled the podcast that. But he's back. Great. Let's move on. Because I believe once these 2 Super Bowl episodes are over, he's officially done.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But let's well, I guess we'll start with the Marcel piece of this whole thing. I do really like the scene at the zoo where Ross follows the janitor into the nocturnal section. And he says, and I have a number of lines here because I just kept writing them all down. He's like, do you believe everything the zoo tells you? And Ross is like, well, that's the only thing the zoo's ever told me, you know? like that his monkey is dead.
Yes.
And so he's trying to prove, or this janitor is trying to say, hey, no, he's not dead. He's around somewhere. He goes, word on the street. Well, when I say street, I mean those little pretend streets that they have here at the zoo, is that he's not dead. He's in the entertainment field. This is such a good section, and it's one of my favorites of this whole episode, which is kind of funny because there's a lot of banger scenes in here. But do you know that guy? Do you know that actor?
Who is that? I didn't look him up, and I was going to because he's so familiar.
That actor is Dan Castanella.
Okay.
Who, and I don't know if I said that name right, but he plays Homer Simpson's voice on The Simpsons.
Oh my God. That's pretty cool.
So it's like a big cameo without really recognizing the guy.
I was just...
And he's been in a number of things as well, but he's known for being Homer Simpson.
Well, it's funny. This kind of just came up in a recent conversation I was having with Pedro because we were talking about the latest episodes of South Park, which are crazy and hilarious. But how Trey Parker and Matt Stone, like they've become faces that people just know, right? Whereas The Simpsons has been on forever, and clearly I still did not know, and that was part of. I'm like, who does play Homer Simpson? Like, how do I not know that face? And here we go. Wow.
Well, like Nancy Cartwright plays Bart, and if you saw her walking down the street, you would never know.
Right.
Like, I've seen her in a number of things, and it's just like,
wow,
you'd never know until she started talking.
Yeah.
Like Bart, like, because it's not her normal voice.
Right.
But anyway, that scene is my favorite Marcel piece to this whole thing. I don't know about you, but the idea of Ross wanting to go like track him down, like, hey, you just gave him away. What are we tracking him down for?
It's a lot.
And then like he's now filming a movie, and so you're trying to like get behind this. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel as though I would do this if I gave up an exotic monkey. Maybe I would. Never done it in my life.
Yeah, right.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, right before he's kind of talking with this janitor, the person who informs him that his monkey is dead is Fred Willard.
Yes.
And I love him. He has since passed away. I believe. Oh my goodness. Now I've got to fact check myself.
Oh, you just kill somebody that you shouldn't have killed.
I hope not.
I don't know.
No, he oh gosh. No, he did die. He died in 2020 when he was 86. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. And he's from a lot of Christopher, he's been in a ton of stuff, but I know him from Christopher Guest movies, which I referenced, I think, just the other day, because the guy who does the Mocklet with Rachel, like, he's in a lot of their movies too. And so it's just these super silly, mockumentary type movies. Totally recommend if you haven't seen them. But Fred Willard always plays hilarious, super dry, like deadpan comedy. And
I always feel like he plays like a principal.
Yes. Or
somebody who is in charge of a thing, but not like doesn't always appear fit for that job.
Well, that's what on Best in Show, which is all about, it's a mockumentary about the dog show industry. He plays one of the judges, and he is just a crazy, wacky judge, though, and just is dropping all these insane lines. Like, it's perfect.
He's in charge of it. He's a judge. Yeah. He is in charge of that thing, and he's I haven't seen that, but that makes sense to me.
Watch it.
We also have I'm gonna pivot storylines here. The big storyline of this, outside of Ross, is Joey and Days of Our Lives, and Brooke Shields, like being the stalker who comes in and leaves a note or a letter at their apartment, like by hand. Somehow she's figured out where Joey lives, and the whole sequence between him then going on a date with her, and then her tracking him down at the apartment while the show is on television is just a little chaotic. But clearly, she thinks he is, in fact, Dr. Drake Ramoray and can't disseminate between real life and television.
It is.
Which is a far-fetched storyline, if there ever was one.
But she is clearly insane. I mean, what Eric left out is that not only did she mail a letter to his apartment, but she...
Not mail, hand deliver. Doesn't have a stamp on it.
Hand delivered, doesn't have a stamp. But she also included her eyelashes.
13 of them.
In the letter. So, wow. Just, wow.
She's eccentric.
She is passionate. And
yes.
her laugh too, which not that I can, pick on anyone for having a loud, insane laugh, but she would, oh my goodness, when they're at the restaurant and he's making a joke and she does this like, and like makes this circular body movement from the table is... Oh my!
Circular body movement with her head knocked back 90 degrees, just screaming like a lunatic.
Yes. I love that so much. I mean, Brooke Shields is great. That whole and also all this to be said. So we all should, as Eric pointed out, the title of it is the one after the Super Bowl Part 1. So this is. The thing with the Super Bowl episodes, we're not talking about the second one today, but it is like 1 hour long episode that was broken up into two smaller versions for then the DVDs and for like, syndication, they're broken up. But just wanted to point that out. So we have like a ton of celebrities just for that reason. Yeah.
Well, and it's a clean break too, because we get like, even though it's an hour long episode, they clearly pivot, and in the next episode there are a whole bunch new guest stars that show up with different storylines. So it is a 1 hour episode, but it's also two very separate episodes.
Extremely separate. Another celebrity that we have on here is Phoebe's new crush / boss in a way, because he hires her to play for the children. But that is Chris Isaac, the musician, who also then ends up playing Smelly Cat with Phoebe. So I love how now we've had two musicians play Smelly Cat with Phoebe. I think they've just been really asking for this role to have that opportunity. So he asks her, has she ever played songs for kids? And she looks at him and goes, "Oh, I would love to have kids." And and he's like, she's like, "Here are the songs that I will write for them," because he is extremely handsome. And she's just like, just taken by him immediately. And the fact that I forget, did he just appear? And I think he just appeared at the coffee shop, was hearing her, hearing her play, and just kind of stepped up. And
well, she recognized that he had been like seeing her a few times, because she said, "Hey, here's that guy. He's coming up to us."
Oh, right,
everybody laugh when I say now. Everybody's gonna laugh and think I'm super funny. So now, and they all start laughing, which is really funny. Yeah, because then, hey, the gang's got her back.
Yes,
it's all good.
Yes, yeah.
Let's see. We do have to go back to the Joey thing for a second. Yeah. Because here's the thing with Joey and Brooke Shields.
Yes.
There is no question that the water throwing scene is one of my favorite things.
That's at the very end. Yes.
Where they get to the end of the episode and Brooke Shields chases him down, and she's at the apartment and she just saw him on TV in Salem, and they put the TV on for her and try to prove it, and nothing is working. So then Ross comes up with the idea on the fly where he's like, "That's right. He's not Drake. He's Hans Ramoray, Drake's evil twin," which is funny because when I was typing this, I literally wrote he's Striker Ramoray because he plays Striker Ramoray, the twin, many episodes in the future. I was like, oh, back it up. They call him Hans here.
Yes.
So he's Hans Ramoray, and they go through this whole sequence of Rachel being taken advantage of by Hans, and Monica and Chandler as well, and they're all just throwing cups of water on him. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
I know. I love that.
It's one of those. There are two pieces of like, well, there are many obviously, but two pieces of like physical comedy that made me laugh in this episode. That being one of them, where they're all throwing the water, and the other one is when they're first meeting Brooke Shields, and you get them trying to escape before she gets up there. And Joey and Chandler try running out. He's like, "Oh, we'll just run right by her." And he says, "That's how radio stars escape stalkers." So they double back in, and Chandler gets the bottle of soap. And Joey's like, "Okay, here he goes." He's like, "Hold on." And he like just clicks the bottle open so he can spray the soap at her.
My God.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's when they take that extra pause just to pop the cap open. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And then of course he, shoots the soap up when they open the door, and they're like, "Whoa, she's kind of hot."
Yep.
So it's everybody's okay with the stalker now.
Yep, exactly. They're like, "Okay, let's just see how this goes." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta ask you, because now we're getting some. You were talking about Phoebe.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting more Phoebe songs.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of these Phoebe songs?
Oh my goodness, these Phoebe songs are out of control. Her sitting in the classroom with like the children all around, and their parents are all there as well, and she's singing. I don't have all the like. She wrote some. She said something about like, and don't sleep with people just to make them like you.
Yeah.
That's another thing that you don't want to do. And,
yeah, the first wave of songs are off the hook.
They're insane,
right?
Yes.
They are about like
the grandmother dying,
grandmother passing away,
yes.
and sleeping with people just to have them like you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he says, "Hey, they were kind of thinking you might do songs about barnyard animals."
Right. Oh,
so then when she comes back the second time,
yes.
it is, I know I said last week that Tegrin spelled backwards as Nurgit is one of my favorite lines. This song is in fact my favorite song.
Yes.
When it's, "Oh, the cow in the meadow goes moo. Oh, the cow in the meadow goes moo. Then the farmer hits him on the head and grinds him up, and that's how we get hamburgers."
My God.
That is my favorite Phoebe song by a long way. Forget Smelly Cat. That's the one.
Yes, that is so good. Oh my God. I'm so glad you wrote that down. That was, yeah.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess it up.
Yes.
But I have that one committed to memory.
Yes.
Like that one is locked in.
Oh my goodness. That is, yeah. Yep. That's great. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, that is not what I had in mind as far as barnyard songs." And I can't tell if Phoebe, like, do you think her character, because she's not dumb, so it's like, I think she just is like, you know what, I am still gonna just be authentically me, and
I think that's it.
And that's all there is to it. So if you don't like it, oh well, like, yeah. So
I don't believe she's dumb. I think she's just, this is what I do, and if you want to hire me, then this is what you get.
Yep.
And she'd rather never be hired and play the song she wants to play.
Yep. And I love how then the kids reach, like, they're then seeking her out. And I don't know if you noticed the little kid. Yes.
Do you recognize the little kid?
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
I forget what his, but I know that he's Tia and Maori's brother, who was also on
Taj.
Yes.
Taj Mowry.
Taj Mowry. Okay, because he was also on Full House.
He also used to be the lead on a show called Smart Guy.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
It was part of the TGIF lineup, I think, at one point.
Really?
Where he was like supposed to be some like super smart, kid in like high school or something like that. I can't remember exactly the plot.
That does.
But he was He's a smart guy. Like, I remember the theme a little bit.
I completely forgot about
Yeah.
that. That's coming back
Welcome.
to me. So I remember him as Michelle's friend in Full House too, when they were he was super little then.
Was it Teddy? I think it was Teddy.
Wow. Yep. Didn't know that, but yes, you're right. Teddy sounds correct.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% on that, but I feel pretty good about it.
No, you're right. But I remember making that connection when Sister was on with Tia and Tamara. Oh my gosh, I cannot say her name. Tamara Mowry. And he looks like the three of them look so much alike. That's like, oh yeah, clearly he's their brother. Like it's just the resemblance is great there.
And I haven't seen Taj Mowry.
Oh no, I know.
Since he was that age.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure he does stuff and I just maybe don't recognize him.
Maybe.
Tia and Tamara, I have seen a number of times. Yeah. They do all sorts of Hallmark movies and stuff like that for Christmastime that I am usually told that I have to watch many of.
Oh, they're on the Hallmark?
They're on in my house constantly.
Oh my
goodness. So I see them enough in passing.
My condolences.
Some of them are better than others. Some of them, you know who you are. You know which ones you are.
We love you, Tina. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the other, so all that to be said, he runs in and says, "Hey, we found her!" And he like calls all the other kids in because they've found Phoebe at Central Park.
They found, "Are you the lady that tells the truth?"
Yes.
That's what they said. And she's like, "Yeah, that's me." And so they all pile into Central Park, which has got to be weird.
Yeah.
Right? If you are an adult in a coffee shop and like 20 unaccompanied children come off the streets of New York into the coffee shop, this is a weird vibe, right?
Yeah.
This is a weird vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaving that place quickly.
Yeah. But and then I appreciated how at the very end of that episode, as I mentioned earlier, Chris Isaak ends up singing a higher pitched note in Smelly Cat, which I feel like they almost put that in because he probably wasn't the most recognizable musician, but when you hear him sing, it's like, oh yeah, now I know exactly who that is. Because
and he had some songs out probably right at that exact moment that were bangers.
So his pitch is extremely recognizable, and so he tries to add that to Smelly Cat, and Phoebe does not approve, as she never tends to approve of any like changes to Smelly Cat. You got to keep it real. So.
Got to keep it real.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to do the IMDb rankings section of our podcast, where we take a look at these 4 episodes. We have all of the user rankings from IMDb, and we're going to take a look, rank them ourselves before we actually look at what the numbers are. Judge, did they get it right? Did they not? What do you think? So before I pull up the numbers, and I want to reiterate that now 8.9 is the best Friends episode to date, and a 7.6 would be the worst Friends episode to date. Those are the benchmarks, and that was the one with fake Monica was the worst one, and the one where Ross finds out is the best. So, Amanda, do you think any of these episodes become the high or the low? Let's start with that.
No. Not in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are, even though we had a lot of celebrities in the last episode here, the one with the Superbowl part 1, I don't think that it outranks the one where Rachel finds out, which I think, which was the best one so far. And so I would say for me though, I actually had a little bit of a hard time picking which one is my favorite. But I did end up going with the one with the lesbian wedding, because I felt like overall I liked, being introduced to seeing Joey in his role as Dr. Dr. Drake Ramoray first. I liked the whole sequence with Ross. I liked meeting Rachel's mom. And I liked just seeing Monica go crazy while she was preparing food. But I could be almost, with this pick, it's almost one of those things where I could be argued out of it.
Well, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to argue out of it. Because I agree. I like all that stuff, and I think it is it is the most meaningful episode. Because going back to the beginning, we started this all with like Fun Bobby's drinking problems, but this one, because of Ross's connection to Carol and Susan and the whole thing, there's a lot of emotion there, and then you add on Rachel's mom. There's a lot there. That being said, to me, the water throwing scene in the one after the Super Bowl Part 1 with Hans Ramoray is an iconic moment. The Phoebe song about the cow is one of my, like I said, it is my favorite thing. This is a Marcel episode, so I don't love that part. But I am going to put this one ahead because of that. I will say the one with the lesbian wedding is a very close second for me. And then I will say the one with Russ is the worst one.
Okay.
I think the one with Russ, like, that's the Fun Bobby episode. I'd much rather watch the one where the guys are getting the Christmas presents for the rest of the gang at the end of the episode. That one's a little bit funnier to me. So I will take that one third, and last is the one with Russ. What about you?
Yeah, I like the whole Russ sequence a lot, but I was kind of debating between that one and for me, I picked the one with Phoebe's dad as being my least favorite. Although again, I really do like the sequence with her grandmother and the whole concept that she thought her dad was frame guy. And all that. So still really good stuff. But I just didn't have as many overall notable moments in that one. And the one with Russ, just the whole concept of Rachel not realizing that Russ is exactly like Ross is hilarious. The comparison, both of them to Bob Saget, is great. And also, we meet Estelle and Joey gets the job, so I loved all of that. But
okay, so I've got the actual numbers here.
Yes.
Got it up on my phone, and here we go. The people are not super high on these. Nothing below a 7.6.
Yeah,
but the worst episode is actually a tie. The one with Phoebe's dad and the one with Russ both clock in at a 7.8.
Okay. All right. So close to the lowest one.
Close, though. 7.8 is pretty low. Now, don't get me wrong. 7.8 is better than most.
Yeah, right.
But for Friends episodes, those are towards the bottom. Now, third place is the one with the lesbian wedding.
Okay.
And it is a 7.9.
Wow. Okay.
So those three episodes, not a whole lot different. Yep. The one after the Super Bowl gets an 8.5.
Oh, so super.
So way high. I don't know that I agree that there should be that big a difference between those, but that's because I'm just not a Marcel person. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And maybe it's also like the exposure, like there were more people that tended to rate that one because of the celebrity sightings. And I feel like that always like just draws more attention.
Possible.
I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah. Now, I will say of all the Marcel scenes, the one with Dan Castellaneta is funny. Fred Willard, that's great. Like all that stuff at the zoo with Ross, that's good. So like, maybe I'm underselling that one, but it was my favorite one of the four, and I'm happy that it's the one that the people have picked. Yeah. So yeah.
I could easily get there. I mean, definitely, it was right there.
Well, the other one's just a more emotional there's more power in the one with the lesbian wedding, but the people don't seem to care.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening to the We Run on Reruns podcast. Please follow, rate, and review our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. You can also check out our socials by subscribing to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok for more of our content. If you have any questions or suggestions, please email us at werunonreruns@gmail.com and go check out our website, werunonreruns.com. For Amanda, this is Eric saying thanks for listening, everybody, and happy rerunning.